Hello! Welcome back, all you fabulous fighting fantasy aficionados, for yet another episode of me playing Rebel Planet, Fighting Fantasy Gamebook number 18. And this is going to be for the 10th time, which I think is a new record for me in terms of the number of sessions I've had on a single book. This is quite a hard nut to crack. It's a tricky puzzle to find the right path. And even on the right path, there are so many hazards and things that can go wrong. Last time I tried sort of starting from a save game point, just as I was getting to the agricultural base. If you want to know more about how you get to the agricultural base, I did a recap at the beginning of my last episode. And of course, if you want to see the whole progress, you'd have to watch the whole series. Yes, which is even more fun. I can recommend it. Yes, absolutely. So, I've been looking at my map here now, and what's going on here is this is the wilderness bit of the third planet of Halmuris, and so I'm starting here as I leave the spaceport, and then I can sort of branch out, either going north or east and then somewhere else where this of course is not geographical map, to the agricultural base. But I've exhausted all the possibilities, I think, at the agricultural base. Most of the paths lead to death. Going north bumps you into a really strange alien that seems to perhaps be looking for a staff that you can find up here, except it's very hard to get it. I'm thinking I have to get that staff and give it to that alien, and that might be the key. This seems like a really difficult thing to do, but it also feels too elaborate to be just a side plot. It feels like it should be part of the main plot. If at some point I die here, I will have to do a do-over, because I think this is the ticket, the clue that is missing. So I will have, that is my plan for the day. I will start from the point after I have woken up in the morning, feeling somewhat refreshed, but not as refreshed as I could have been after a really freezing night, with no food. So, without too much further fuss, I'll get started. So, join me in a few moments, and I'll be ready on my desk to play Rebel Planet for the 10th time. Imagine that. Boom. Okay, here we are on my desk. I got my pens, my pencil, my dice, my map, my character sheet, and my trusty old book as well, Rebel Planet. Exciting stuff. So, on my map here, this seems to be the safest path. I will start from the point where I've finished sleeping for the night and where I have a choice of two directions. Okay. Let's see. In the morning, you follow a path heading roughly northeast until it divides. Will you branch right or left? So I will branch left. Go to 171. You walk on for about an hour and then stop to rest and shelter from the heat. Gain 1 stamina point. So my stamina is now 19. It was down 2 points from before. While gazing idly into the sky, you notice a large bird coming into land on the rock face above you. What strikes you in particular is that the bird is carrying something which flashes as it catches the sunlight. Do you want to investigate this further or carry on with your journey? Well, I've sort of have an inkling now that this is what I need to get to where I'm going. So I'm going to try to get that stuff, come hell or high water. Of course, on this planet, that is actually quite true, because you have really high water and it is quite hellish with all the volcanoes and stuff. The cliff should not be difficult to climb. The freezing cold has broken it up into larger and smaller ledges, which will afford handholds and stepping places. After about 20 minutes, you can hear hear the bird nearby, and you circle round so that you can approach it from above. The nest is on a fairly wide ledge. The bird itself is a Halmurian rock buzzard, whose fluffy appearance belies its dangerous nature. It looks like a large ball of soft feathers. As protection against the cold, it has developed the habit of burying its head and neck within its copious body feathers until it looks like nothing so much as a large, cuddly hedgehog, with a tail and folded wings. Well, I don't think hedgehogs are particularly cuddly. I mean, they're prickly. If you jump onto the ledge, you will have to fight it. Is this what you choose to do? Or does its size and the precariousness of your situation make you change your mind and return to the path? So this is what I choose to do, 298. You leap down onto the ledge, away from the nest, so as to have a secure landing. Your precipitous arrival awakens the bird, which instinctively attacks you. So we've got a rock buzzard, 6/8, and we've got a skill of 9 and stamina of 19. Now, there is an added twist here. If you win without being wounded by its beak or talons, etc., turn to 40. However, if you are wounded once, this means that the bird has got past your flashing sword, and its weight will knock you off the ledge to die on the path below. Which means that once you choose this path, it is do or die. I will try to win this battle, but if I don't win it, I will technically have to try again until I do, which means that technically I could say that, well, I'll just go and do the same thing over and over again until I win, which means that regardless of what happens as I roll the dice now, I will get to a point, if I try this over again, where I will win this battle without being injured, because by definition that is the only way to win it, if you see what I mean. So it's not really cheating, it's just I just skip trying again, because by the law of averages I will win it at some point if I do it over again. So, but I will try first. So I've got a 3-point advantage. He rolls an 8, I roll a 2, and I die. Okay, do the battle again. He rolls a 4, I roll a 7. He rolls an 8, I roll a 3, and I die. Okay, and so we can go on actually until finally. So now it's just dice rolling until I win it. So 8, 7, okay, 4, 7. Yeah, he's down to 4. 5, 7. Yeah, he's down to 2. And finally, perhaps he rolls 7, and I roll 7, and so he's dead. And there I made it. So I died twice, made it once. Okay, and I've completely lost count of the death count actually in this book, but it is the highest I've ever had for any book, including Death Trap Dungeon. Okay. Because even in Death Trap Dungeon, I think I was only up at about sort of 12 or something deaths, and at the end I've definitely had more in this one. Or more fails, I should say, because some of the ends are not dying, it's actually just failing your mission. Okay, so I win the battle with him eventually, and I go to 40. The chances of, if this is the path indeed that I think you have to take, the chances of winning this book are going to be one of the smallest in the series, I think. Curiously, there is no immediate sign of the shining object the bird was carrying when you first spotted it. Then you notice 2 deep fissures in the ledge into which you could insert your hand, if you're so daring. Will you try the left fissure or the right one? Alternatively, you could decide that anything could be living in such cracks, and that it would be best to return to the path without taking any further risks. Okay, so clearly I'm going to have to reach into the fissures, and it's the right one that I want. So I'm going to go to 355. There we are. The crack is deep and narrow, and you cannot reach too far. The strength of the bird, which you already knew from your fight with it, is further proved by the size of the objects you find. Smaller things have presumably fallen into the inaccessible depths of the fissure, apart from some useless chunks of metal and a broken spy missile. Spy missile? Or a spy satellite. Spy missile? Yeah. You find a staff with 7 strips of different metals coiled around its wooden stem. A casket containing 180 credits. So I'm now up to 585. And the mind probe. The probe will fit into your anti-grav pack and you put the money in your money belt. But if you take the staff, it will make your descent down the cliff more risky, since you will have to carry it by hand. Even more alarming is the fact that a faint power seems to be suggesting that you take the staff. You cannot tell whether the power is good or evil, but you are able to resist it if you want to. Note down on your equipment list what you take, etc. Will you now explore the other fissure? No, I will climb down. Thank you very much. If you're carrying a staff with you, turn to 49, otherwise turn to 147. So, where are we? 10, 147, yeah. So, hang on, 147 is already over there. But I'm carrying a staff, so I'm going to go to 49. If you are bitten by a saw-toothed rat, turn to 98. I did not get bitten by the rat, otherwise turn to 232. I'm going to go to 232. So the rat is where if you pick the wrong fissure and reach your hand in, then that's. Actually, interestingly now, it is only if you get bitten. So if you get bitten by the rat, then you can actually die from falling down. If you don't get bitten, that's an interesting twist, I think. So the left and right fissure thing actually is potential for dying again. So many sort of almost 50-50 choices between death and life on this one. Right, so I'm testing my luck. So I'm rolling 3 as usual. I am lucky. If you're unlucky, etc., not unlucky, let's see. So then turn to 147 to continue your journey. So 47, so that's the luck, and I'll minus 2 stamina. Okay. So 147, and this now should soon get me to the being. In a short while, your path is joined by another to the left. Will you continue straight on? Or take this branch? So I've got 2 options now. I've either got straight on, which is 114. Do I have 114? I don't have. Yes, I do have 114. 114 leads me to the base, actually. So either I now go straight to the base, or I go to the encounter with the alien. So I'm going to go to 108. You follow the winding path for a couple of kilometers. Suddenly your attention is caught by a shadow on the path. It's not that the shadow is particularly odd in itself, it's that there is nothing around to cast it, and it is moving towards you. When it is about a meter away, it stops. To your amazement, a shaft of light emerges from the ground where the shadow is. Within the shaft is a form of some kind, which is constantly changing. If this is science, it is beyond human or Arcadian knowledge. You appear to be in the presence of some unknown force. It does not seem hostile, but being alien, it is difficult to judge. Will you run away from this encounter? Turn to 120. Or wait and see what happens. Now, I'm never going to run away from this now that I've got the staff. Let's have a little quick look. Yeah, actually, I don't know. Could be interesting too. Okay. I'm going to wait and see what happens anyway. So I'm going to go to 236. It speaks. Earthling, where is the blood on? At least that's what the last word sounds like. The voice is strangely metallic and hollow. It certainly does not come from any living being that you can imagine. Perhaps it is a robot of some kind. If it is, then you could attack it. Is this what you choose to do? or will you try to talk back to it as it inches ever closer to you? I will talk back to it. 195. You pause to think. It occurs to you that it need not necessarily be a robot. The metallic tone of the voice could come from some language translation device. What is this Zblaran it's asking about? It can speak enough Arcadian to cover everyday objects, it seems. If you have a strange staff or a mind probe, you could see if one of these is what it wants. Would you try the staff or the probe? If you have neither of these, or choose not to give them up, turn to 179. I'm going to give it the staff now. Okay, see what happens. So 267. This is Zblaran, you ask, finding yourself speaking the same pidgin Arcadian as the weird thing. Zblaran, replies the thing in a voice which sounds decidedly unfriendly to you, but is apparently not. The staff is whisked out of your hand into the shaft of light, where it hangs, suspended by goodness knows what. Both the changing form and the shaft of light proceed to vibrate very rapidly, but in eerie silence. If the staff is broken, turn to 179. Otherwise, turn to 308. Okay, so 179 is the same as attacking the being, which means that if the staff is broken, you will have to fight it. So let's see. Okay. Or that's another one there as well. 308. Okay, I'm going to put 308 there. 308. Okay. Now I have power, says the being, enough for even my voice box to function correctly. A wheezing noise follows, which you think might be a laugh. I can grant you one favor with this power, then I must return to my galaxy. This is to repay you for rescuing the Zblaran from the darkness where I cannot go. Oh, this is some kind of being of light. It cannot actually go into the darkness, maybe, of the recess, or the fissure. Will you ask it to restore some of your stamina? Well, that's not what you ask if you get granted one wish, is it? Or if by any chance it knows the whereabouts of the man you are seeking. I'm going to definitely ask it about the whereabouts of the man I am seeking. Maybe it has a clue for me as to the password. That's my hope. So 363 stamina, or 377. Let's see. Ask. Let's put ask. Okay. 377. I'll know what it means. Yes, I know, it replies. Nobody notices shadows in shadowy places, so I hear things which are denied to others. His name is Dorado, and he is working in the fields. I was by his side, though he didn't know it, when he sent you the password. Password? What password? You exclaim. No password got through to Earth. I detect the hand of treachery. The alien being is fading fast, but as it goes, it calls out, "The bitter sea." Gain 2 luck points for this vital information. Ooh, 2 luck points. Let's see, +2 luck, and we also have clue. Luck is up to 10 again. If you meet Dorado, he will ask you for this password. You should then subtract 100 from the paragraph. So we've got bitter C minus 100 is how okay. Subtract 100 from the paragraph number where you are at the time to find the next correct paragraph. Remember this. Now turn to 114. Okay, so now I am being sent on to the... Where are we? Yes. To the agricultural station. Now I've got the password, so now I know how to get on with what's going on. So I'm going to go to 114. This is... I was right. This is the right path. But it's really difficult, though. I mean, there's so many chances of dying here. I mean, if you lose 1 combat round out of 4 with the bird, which is a big risk, even with a good skill. Yeah, anyway. Your path winds through a rocky gorge, which narrows until there is only room for one person to squeeze between the two cliffs. Then, laid out in front of you on a plain, is the agricultural station. There are fields of experimental shrubs being tested for survival in this harsh climate, which are being tended by human workers, and beyond the fields is the station itself, a building insulated within a thermodome. Will you back into the rocks and make your way around to the building? Sudden death? Well, or approach some of the humans in the fields who appear to be unguarded. Turn to 22. So I'm going to turn to 22. You step out into the fields towards a group of humans who are working about 100 meters away, but you're only halfway there when a whirring noise above you and to your left makes you look up. A small silver streamlined craft is heading towards you. You dive into the shrubs as it approaches and, crouching, head for the cover of the middle of the field. But the alien is tracking you. Wherever you go, it hovers overhead. Suddenly it sprays flame, but at the shrubs, not at you. Again and again flames shoot out until you are surrounded by fire. The smoke is dense. You cannot see your enemy. What will you do? Stay where you are and pray? Nope. Or try to break through the circle of fire. A ring of fire. Okay. Eyes streaming and choking in the smoke, you race, sometimes leaping, sometimes zigzagging between burning bushes. Test your luck. And I roll a 7. Luck is down to 9 again. I am lucky. So I will go to 323. Miraculously, your speed carries you through the danger. Why am I always saying you speed almost there? Your speed carries you through the danger relatively unharmed, but your exertions, scratches, and burns cost you 2 stamina points. So stamina is now 17. The alien craft was unable to track you through the smoke and is now some way off. Will you sprint for the building? No, that is sudden death again. Or the rocks 259. The pall of smoke provides excellent cover until you are quite near the rocks. Then you are spotted, and the silver craft races in pursuit. But the drifting smoke causes it to misjudge the distance, and as you squeeze into cover, and in keeping with the genre, it smashes into the rock face above you and explodes. Test your luck. Again, it's a lot of luck testing. 5. I usually make my luck tests, though. So if you're lucky, turn to 228. So there we are, 2 and 2, 28. Right, exciting stuff. The shockwave of the Zeridian blast knocks you unconscious. Deduct 2 stamina points and turn to 46. Now it seems that most of your clues you can only get them if you first are knocked unconscious. So there you go. 2 out of 3 clues only if you're unconscious first. Okay, 46. When you come to, you have difficulty focusing on who you are, where you are, and what you're doing here anyway. But you can make out the blurred shape of a human bending over you. Then you remember your mission. How long have I been out, you ask, trying to get up. He's coming round, Dorado, calls the man. Coming, Mizar, a voice replies. You've been out for about 45 minutes, says the first man, who is evidently Mizar, and the Arcadians are almost upon us. 45 minutes? Then there is no time to lose. You will scarcely make it back to the spaceport in time for your flight. You must send one of the men to defend the pass and buy you enough time to talk to the other and escape. Will you send Dorado away or Mizar? I will send Mizar away because he doesn't know anything. So 255. Dorado, you say. I must go. But first, tell me what you know about the digits of the Arcadian computer. Identify yourself, he says in reply. What's the password? You will now either know what to do, or you will get nothing more out of Dorado. So, I know that I'm supposed to subtract 100 from this paragraph to get to the place I am. Just tell him the password, so that is paragraph 155. The bitter sea, you reply. I know none of the digits, he begins, and your heart sinks. All I know is that the whole sequence of digits is a palindrome. It is the same written forwards or backwards. Okay, so that is Palindrome. So we got now. Clue. Okay. Gain 1 luck point. Okay, so I'm back up to 9. Actually, it's not too bad, the balance of this book in terms of regaining stamina and luck. Actually, it's quite well done, I think. He also gives you some food, a grey uniform, which you could use for getting back into the spaceport, and enough Quandar root lotion to heal 4 stamina points of injuries. Okay, so that's 19 stamina. You thank him over your shoulder as you race off. Turn to 163. Okay. 163. 163. This map is going this sort of slightly different way than usual. Okay. 163. Your journey back to the spaceport is uneventful. I like that sometimes, but tiring in this high gravity. You would lose stamina if it were not for the food that Dorado gave you. Would you use the grey uniform as a disguise for getting back into the spaceport, or would you prefer to use wire cutters if you have them? I don't have those, so that means it will be grey uniform. So 344 grey, or 302 wire cutters. So clearly getting the wire cutters, which is a 50-50 chance, is the most beneficial, it seems. Grey uniform 344. You walk boldly up to the eastern entrance in your disguise. The guards call you to halt and ask what you have been doing off the base and where you came from. You explain that you left by the western entrance. Would you say that you have been attending to a broken down helicopter or taking provisions out to a patrol? Okay, I'm saving my game now. Definitely saving my game. So 2 options. So 26 helicopter. I'm not supposed to be a mechanic, I'm supposed to be a merchant, so taking provisions to a patrol seems more likely. So I'm going to say I took provisions to a patrol. The guards let you through without further delay. Once inside the spaceport buildings, you shed your disguise and make your way to your spaceship. Okay, so that is the right answer. But just in case, that's out of curiosity now, I just want to have a look at the other option. What happens if you say yes? Yes, of course. Wrong uniform as well. So if you say you're going you went to repair a helicopter, this is the wrong reply. Such a worker would be wearing a blue uniform, and you know this if you kept attention earlier, and carrying a toolkit. You are taken away for interrogation from which you will never emerge. Good stuff. Okay. Where are we? Let's see. 78. Yes, I'm going to 78. 78. 8. Your way to the spaceship is barred by 2 guards. Your heart leaps in dismay and fear, but it turns out that they are just waiting for your passenger to embark. You see 2 Central Arcadians cross the field and enter your spaceship. Neither of them returns. It looks as though you have 2 passengers, not 1. Then the guards allow you on board. On the way to Arcadion, you may restore half as much stamina as your current score. So that means that this goes up to max because I was on 19. Rounding odd numbers down, etc. Remember also to restore the skill point you lost for the high gravity. Okay, so now my skill is going to be 10 again. The 2 Arcadians keep pretty much to themselves during the voyage, but one night you are awoken by a rattling at your cabin door. Will you ask who it is without unlocking the door, or throw open the door? Okay, now I think I will start a new page of map. So I'm going to start here and traditionally at the bottom. Is that in shot? That is actually outside of shot. There we are, 78 down there, and I've got 2 options now: 20 or 350. Okay. And this is, let's see, I'll just put, it's Arcadion really. I'm sort of en route, so Arcadion. This is FF18, and this is map number 6. Just so I got that for future reference. I'm going to ask who it is without unlocking the door. So I'm going to go to 20. There is no reply. You wait for a bit and then cautiously open the door, but there is nothing and no one in sight down the corridor. Mystified, you return to bed. Turn to 247. Okay. That is a bit so. Let's see. Open. Ask 247. Okay. The two Arcadians remain out of sight for the rest of the journey. When you land on Arcadion, they are whisked off, and you are ordered to remain on your ship while it is being refueled for the return journey. There is no chance of escape. You have failed. Okay, so that is clearly another 50-50 choice that actually ends the game. So the end. But of course, I am going to press on now. I'm going to go back to 78, and I'm going to do the other thing and see what happens. There's a lot of finger bookmarks in this playthrough, but framed in the doorway is one of the Arcadians who looks startled. I have a headache, he says. At least I think that's why I'm here, but he trails off. Would you tell him that the medical robot will bring some interferon to his cabin or invite him in? Okay, this is interesting. Um, 212 painkillers or 230 invite. I'm going to invite him in and see what's going on. The Arcadian, whose name turns out to be Muska, is obviously in a confused state. It changes from being friendly to being suspicious at a moment's notice. By cautious probing, you gradually discover that something has gone wrong with the empathic receiver in his brain, which links him to the Arcadian computer. He has held several positions of authority on Halmuris and Arcadion. You guess that the constant decision-making that these jobs involved has begun to free his will from the enslaving grip of the computer. The side effects include blinding headaches and a sense of confusion and guilt. If you tread carefully, you have obviously stumbled across what could be a valuable source of information. Gain 1 luck point. Luck up at 10 again. Let's see, let's put that here. +1 luck. But before you can ask any further questions, there is a knock at the door, and the voice of the other Arcadian is heard. Do you by any chance have my friend in there? His pleasant tone puts you on your guard. Will you admit that Muska is with you or not? Okay. 361 or 371, not and with. Okay, so I'm going to say he's not. 379. Or not, yeah. You should have realized that his friendly tone was not for your benefit, but for Muska's. As you already know, in his confused state, Muska sees anyone who appears friendly as a friend. The other Arcadian has now taken on this role, and you, by denying him entry, have become Muska's enemy. He calls out to the other Arcadian, who blasts open your door with a phaser. You will have plenty of time in an Arcadian cell to wonder why he was issued with a phaser and where you went wrong. Or I will just continue now with another finger bookmark again. Oh yeah, there's so many insta fails in this game book. I can't remember for sure now. Was this in when I was playing my Fighting Fantasy Roulette last time? Was this the book that I ended in? I can't remember now. I'll have to see if I can find my playthrough notes of that, or just look at the video, I guess. You smile at Muska as if to say, "It's all right," and unlock the door to the other Arcadian, who is carrying a phaser. Muska must be important if a phaser has been issued from the arsenal to guard him. You are now committed to a bold and risky course of action. You will have to get rid of Muska's friend, but against the phaser you stand no chance in direct combat. Will you tell the other Arcadian that you know everything, or let him take Muska away for the time being? Sounds like another 50-50 chance to die there. 167 or 290. Everything or take away. I'm going to say that I know everything. Is that going to be another insta-death now? I'm saving my game, obviously. Obviously. You tell the Arcadian that you know what's up with Muska, who is by now gibbering quietly in a corner of the room, and point out that he cannot kill you just in case he needs a pilot on this trip. You add that you will make sure that this damaging information gets out to other humans. So you have thrown down the gauntlet. What will his reaction be? Turn to 126. 126. Central Arcadians are well known for their arrogance. Your puny threats don't worry me, human, he replies. I can pilot this ship as well as you, but you have more pluck than most of your kind. Instead of killing you now, I will use you in an experiment. A courageous guinea pig would be interesting. I myself have developed a device which is more reliable than the empathic receiver and can be used on humans. I am taking poor Muska back for interrogation, and then he will be the first Arcadian to undergo the new process. You have earned the honor of being the first human. He locks Muska in your cabin, and Frog marches you back to his room. Will you attempt to escape or not? Right. So 340. Escape or 387. Not. Am I attempting to escape now when it's taking me to the cabin, or escaping afterwards to the cabin? Because that's quite different things. In any case, I don't think I should. I mean, he's got a phaser, so I can't really. I'm going to have to just go with him now. 387, I think. Because there'll be some time there. In his cabin, he cannot resist explaining his invention to you. Ooh, well, typical master criminal, isn't it? While he unpacks the equipment. It's really very simple in theory, he says. Any Arcadian is linked to and is part of the central computer. By running electrical impulses from an Arcadian's brain through this device, I have invented to a human's brain, I can open up for the human the glories of working for the computer. All hail the computer. And wipe out his or her human will forever. All hail the computer. It is even painless for both the Arcadian transformer and the human subject. You realize that he is talking about some kind of ultra-sophisticated brainwashing device. For a moment, fear seizes you. Will you try to smash the machine for your own sake and that of others, or will you allow the experiment to continue? Might this be, I'm just wondering, if I become part of the computer, is that also going to be a way for me to destroy it from the inside? I'm just wondering. Oh, hang on. Put the wrong arrows in there. So that's from this. Oh, there we are. 265. Smash. Or 116. Continue. Maybe I'll let it continue then. See what happens. Again, saving my game now. There's a lot of fingers going on here. You realize that your only chance is to go along with this vile experiment. Your scientific training tells you that there is a weakness in the device. If you have enough willpower to resist the brainwashing, since you will be linked directly to the Arcadian's brain, you may be able to turn the device against him. It's risky, but it's your only hope. Because the Arcadian knows no other existence except as part of the colony or ant-heap, this possibility has not occurred to him. He reckons that what is true for him, what he calls the glory of working for the computer, must be true for everyone else too. Turn to 300. So, 300. Just to double check now, just to see if my suspicions are correct. These other paths that I'm not taking might actually be insta-deaths as well, like this one. Let's see, 265, just checking that now. Actually, that is a possibility there. Okay, 300. So, 300. The experiment begins. Electrodes attached to the Arcadian skull are connected to those attached to yours via the devilish device. You are strapped to your seat with wrist fetters. How will you prepare your mind for what follows? Will you clear it, or follow your own trains of thoughts and memories to provide a barrier against the Arcadian imposing his own ideas? The last thing sounds like the most proper thing to do. So either clear your mind, but that will make me receptible to the new ideas, I would imagine. So I'm going to go with 357. There's a sort of a clue in the text there, maybe, if this is the right one. So there's an illustration there as well. 357. This does not work. It gives the Arcadian easy access to your thought processes, which he can then use for his own purposes. Ah, okay. Turn to 55. Okay, 55. Obviously, the device stimulates the imaginative part of the brain because everything that happens next is like a strange dream. The episodes which follow are easiest to describe in terms of physical combat, even though they are happening in your mind. The result is the same. If you lose any of the following encounters, you might as well have died physically, because you will be a puppet of the Arcadian computer and will have no mind of your own. You seem to be wandering in a mansion with many rooms. Out of nowhere, a monster bars your way. The passages behind you disappear, and there is no other way forward except by defeating it. The monster is the Sphinx, the guardian of knowledge. Okay, so we have a battle against an 8-8. And if you win, go to 251. 251. Oh, I haven't defeated it yet, but I'm going to 251 already. Okay, so I have got 10, 20. The Sphinx has 8. So still quite a tough battle, potentially. So, 2 skill point advantage. He rolls a 9. I roll a 10. He's down to 6. 10. 5, I'm down to 18, 10, oops, 6, oh, let's see, I'm down to 16, 6, 4, that's a draw, 6, 6, he's down to 4, or she, I suppose, 10, 3, 14, 7, 7, she's down to 2, 10, 5, I'm down to 12, and finally perhaps 10 and 11, and the Sphinx is dead. The room beyond the Sphinx is dark, but the large computer screen is resting on the table, and its greenish light as information scrolls. and its greenish light, as information scrolls across its surface, is a source of faint illumination. Will you look at the screen or carry on? So, okay. So 319 or 375, carry on. Look. I'm going to try to carry on actually. Let's see. You pass as in a dream through countless corridors and rooms. Time seems to have no meaning, but eventually you confront a second beast, a dragon, the living dragon comet which guards the richest mineral planet in the universe, according to old space legends. Again, you will have to fight it to continue. So, 8, 12, and if I win, go to 159. Okay, 159. So 8, 12. So I've got a 2 skill point advantage again, and I roll he rolls a 7, I roll a 7. It's down to 10. He rolls 4, I roll a 6. He's down to 8. 6 and 4, that's a draw. 5 and 5, it's down to 6. 8 and 2, I'm down to 10. 9 and 7, that's a draw. 7 and 11, he's down to 4 hit points. 12, 6, I'm down to 8. 7, 6, he's down to 2. And finally, perhaps, he rolls 11, I roll 7, I'm down to 6. He rolls 12, I roll 3, I'm down to 4. He rolls 2 and I roll 12, and then he is gone. I've got 4 stamina left. That is not very good. 159. I need to start using lock in battle, it looks like. The room beyond the dragon is piled high with treasure, including the fabled mineral crystal with its all-healing powers. Maybe some of this imaginary treasure will help you in the imaginary world you're in. Will you take some or not? Okay. I will take some imaginary treasure, as indeed most treasure is when you think about it. It only has value because you imagine it has value and others imagine it has value in most cases. So treasure. Oh no. So I'm going to take some anyway. Or not, yeah. As soon as you touch the treasure, you are caught. In attempting to take some of it, you show that you believe in this illusion, which lowers your defenses and allows the computer to trap you. You can feel it in your mind as a second presence and will never shake it off. So, that is also the end. And I was doing so well. Okay, so I think I will conclude my playing session number 10 right here, and next time I will start here at the beginning of this space journey from Halmuris to Arcadion, and I will do this mind battle again and see if I make some different choices, some places that may actually help me. So I thought that's quite exciting, and I quite like this this little mind game here. I mean, literally a kind of mind game. So, yeah, quite a different flavor as well. It's almost like a meta game, but it doesn't feel like it is a different game to the one you've already been playing. So I quite like that. So yeah, I'm quite excited to continue and see if I can beat the computer at its own game. Okay, so if you enjoyed watching this, I certainly enjoyed playing it, the game book again. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, join me on Patreon, all those things, and I'll see you next time in my next episode, which will be Rebel Planet episode 11. Imagine that. Goodbye for now. Bye bye.